Hello everyone and welcome to Journey with the Kellers. My name is Amanda Keller and today we are in the Keller kitchen. So today we are going to be making something from the Disney Hocus Pocus cookbook. Today's recipe is called Circle of Salt Soft Pretzels. Now I will tell you that once we make the dough for this, it needs to be refrigerated for about 8 hours. So this is something you would probably want to make ahead of time so that you can do the actual pretzel part after it's refrigerated. And excuse my voice, I'm not sure what's going on with it. My throat doesn't hurt, but I sound raspy. So if I sound a little weird from time to time, that's why. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is in a bowl, you are going to take 1 cup of warm water and you're gonna put that in the bowl. You're also gonna add to this 1/4 of a cup of molasses. Okay. And you're going to put that into the water. And then you're also going to add to this 1 packet, or if you don't have a packet and you just have the yeast itself, 2 1/4 teaspoons of rapid rise active yeast. So I don't have the packets, I just have the actual yeast itself. So let's see, we're gonna do 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, oh, and then just 1/4. I almost did a 1/3 teaspoon. That would have been a lot. And then another 1/4 of a teaspoon, okay? And I'm just gonna mix this together a little bit. Try to make sure you scrape down the side of the bowl and get all of that yeast back into the water. Otherwise it'll just sit on the edge of the bowl there. Okay, so once you've got that mixed up, you're gonna go ahead and just set that off to the side for a little bit until it gets kind of foamy looking. So I'm just gonna leave it over there. It says it'll probably take about 5 to 10 minutes, okay? While that is sitting there waiting, we can go ahead and start the other part of our dough. Let me get these out of the way here. Okay, so what you're gonna do now is in the bowl of a stand mixer. Now you could probably do this by hand as well if you want to. It's just gonna take a lot of work and kneading and things like that, so that'll be up to you. I am kind of worried, I always am worried when I'm doing any kind of dough that my stand mixer won't handle it. I've had a few times where it has not, so we'll just see how it goes. If I have to mix it by hand, then I have to mix it by hand. All right, so the first thing that you are going to do is in the bowl of a stand mixer, you will need the hook attachment or dough attachment or whatever you want to call that. You're going to go ahead and put in here, let's see, 2 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour. Okay. So we have 1, 2, and then 1/2. Okay. And then after you get that in there, you're also going to put in some rye flour, dark rye flour actually. It's supposed to be 1 cup of dark rye flour. Now, I could not find dark rye flour. I could probably order it off of the internet, but it would be super expensive because it always is. So I'm actually just going to use whole wheat flour. It may not give it the same flavor, just so you know. So if you can get the dark rye flour or you have dark rye flour, you know, feel the need to use it, whatever, you know. And I'm just going to use this whole wheat. Like I said, this may change the flavor a little bit because it's not dark rye. So we'll just kind of hope it turns out okay. So 1 cup of dark rye flour, okay? Then you're also gonna need 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. Now, if you've watched any of my videos before, you know I don't use the different kinds of salt. I just use salt. So we're just going to put 1 tablespoon of regular salt in there. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and set this on the mixer. And I'm just going to mix it on a low speed to kind of get that kind of mixed in all together. Okay. And then you're going to add your butter. So you are going to need 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter that you've kind of chopped up. Okay. All right, that got mixed in there pretty good. Pick this up again. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and just kind of, you're just going to chop it up into smaller pieces, and you're going to put it in here with the flours and salt. And you could either do this one of 2 ways. You could actually 3 ways. You could use a pastry cutter if you have one and do that. You could also do the thing where you take 2 knives, like butter knives, and you kind of cross them across each other, and you keep doing that and kind of cut the butter in there. I am actually just going to use my hands. I am going to go ahead and just kind of chop this up and try to, I kind of grab the butter with some flour and just kind of smush it in between my fingers and make sure that it gets real nice and broken up, okay? And you want this to be, does it say like a crumble? Let's see. Yeah, you want it to be crumbly when it's done. So it should, you know, you're still gonna see, like it's still gonna look like flour. There's just gonna be bigger chunks and stuff in it. You just wanna make sure that the butter kind of gets crumbled up throughout all the flour. So make sure you're reaching down to the bottom of your bowl too and getting flour from down there and making sure that the butter is getting crumbled up in there really good. I try to make sure there's not any huge chunks of butter. I just want little small ones, not anything super big, okay? All right. There we go. Starting to get there, almost done. Got a few more big chunks here. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I'm not sure how well you can see that, but if you can see, there's kind of like little, you can see little chunks of butter in there, which is what you want, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and set this back on the stand mixer because now we are going to add our yeast mixture. So if you look at my bowl here, the top is all nice and foamy. That's what you want, okay? You want it to kind of look, I don't know, gritty, I guess you could call it, and just kind of icky, especially with the molasses. It does really kind of look icky, okay? So you are going to go ahead and add this in, but you're going to have your mixer on a low speed, okay? And so I'm just going to add this in there. And we probably will have to stop every once in a while as this is mixing and scrape down the sides of the bowl. Unless you have a mixer that actually scrapes the sides of the bowl itself, which would be fantastic, I must say. I would really like one. And make sure that you leave your stand mixer on whatever it says to leave it on for dough settings. Most of the times it is a very low speed. They don't want you going very fast. And there's also usually an amount of time that you can keep it mixing at the same time. After that time, you're supposed to shut it off and let it rest for a minute. And then if you need to continue mixing, then you continue mixing after it's rest for a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all added in here. We're almost there. Okay. So now here's what you're going to do. Like I said, you're going to leave this on low speed or whatever the recommended speed is for your mixer. And you're just going to let it keep going and mix the dough until it's smooth and elastic. It says it should take about 4 to 6 minutes. And then make sure that you do scrape down your sides if you need it, okay? Once it gets all done, once it's nice and smooth and elastic, you're just gonna form it into a ball and wrap it in plastic wrap, and then you have to refrigerate it for about 8 hours, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and get this done and then get it in the refrigerator, and then I will be back in about 8 hours and we'll turn these into some pretzels. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, you guys, so our dough has been in the refrigerator for 8 hours now, so it is time to go ahead and do our next steps. So you're gonna take some flour and flour your work surface real well. Okay. And then you're just going to, of course, put your dough on top of the flour there. Now this is probably going to be kind of hard because it's cold. So we'll do our best to try to get it to roll out. Okay, and you're going to roll this out to about a 12 by 14 rectangle. Okay, so you can also, while you're doing this, preheat your oven to 400 degrees, which I'm trying to figure out. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, so yeah, preheat your oven to 400 degrees. And then we will, after I get this rolled out, which is, like I said, it's going to take a little bit because this is tough because it's cold. So let me get this rolled out and then I'll come back and show you guys what I'm going to do next, okay? Okay, so once you have that rolled out until about a 12 by 14 rectangle, what you're going to do is you are going to go ahead and cut 1-inch strips out of this. And they need to be long strips. So you go whichever way, whichever side of your dough is longer, and just cut some long strips out. Okay. And then you're going to have 2 baking sheets ready with parchment paper on them. Let me get this done here. There we go. Okay, and I have mine sitting back here. So what you're going to do, I'm going to kind of move these out of the way here for a minute. So I've got more room. Okay, so what you're going to do is you are going to take one of these strips and you're basically going to roll it out until it's about 18 inches long, okay? Make sure you roll from the middle as much as you can so that it kind of comes out evenly. Okay, so once you've got it about 18 inches long, I think we're about there. Maybe a little bit longer. Okay, so once you've got it about 18 inches long, you're going to cut it in half, okay? And then you're going to take that one of those halves, and let me just make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, you're just going to form it into a circle, and you're going to press the ends together so it connects, okay? So you get a nice little circular shaped, kind of looks like a donut actually, okay? So press that into a circle, and then you're going to put that on your baking sheet, and then you're just going to cover those with a clean towel, okay? To hold them there for a while. So you're going to go ahead and do that for all of these and get them all ready, get them all into circles and get them ready. Once you've got them all done, what you're going to do is you're going to take a large pan, a large deep pot. You're going to put 8 cups of water in it, 1 cup of sparkling apple cider, and then a 1/2 cup of baking soda. And you're going to bring that up to a simmer, okay? So once I get these all done, I'm going to go ahead and put the liquids into the pot and bring them up to a simmer. And then I will come back and show you guys how we get these cooking, okay? So I will be back in just a few minutes. Okay, you guys, so I got all my pretzels rolled out. Now mine came in several different sizes depending on how long my strips were and all of that. So you are supposed to get about 24 pretzels. I didn't quite get that many. I think I got like 20 or something like that. So, but yeah, so what you're gonna do now is you should have your 8 cups of water, your 1 cup of sparkling apple cider, and your 1/2 cup of baking soda at a simmer, which I do right now, and it kind of looks like a yellow, murky, it's not very pleasant looking, okay? All right, so what you're gonna do is you're going to just go ahead and pick up 1 or 2 of your pretzels. You're gonna put them in there. Since this is 2 of these are small, I think I can fit 3 in there, okay? And you're just gonna baste them or cook them or soak them for about 30 seconds, okay? So as soon as that 30 seconds is up, I'll come back and show you what we do with these, okay? So I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, so the 30 seconds is up. And basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna use some kind of spoon or one of those mesh strainers or whatever that you can strain the water off with. You're gonna scoop them out, and you're gonna put them on there. Now you will probably notice that when you first put them in, they will sink to the bottom, and then they will float as they start coming, you know, as long as they soak a little, okay? And then once you get them out of there, you're gonna sprinkle them with some salt. You know, put them back onto the pan with the parchment paper, sprinkle them with some salt, and then move on to your next ones, okay? Once you get them all done, once you've got them all soaked and got salt on them, then you're gonna go ahead and pop them in the oven at 400 degrees, and you're going to bake them for about 10 to 12 minutes or until they're dark brown. Now I am using regular salt. You can buy pretzel salt and use pretzel salt too if you want to. I just didn't feel the need to buy pretzel salt, but if you would like to do that, or if you have some at home, feel free to use some pretzel salt, okay? So I'll be back as soon as these are done, and we'll get to try them and see how they taste. Okay, you guys, so our pretzels are done. They look pretty good, actually. Now, I would say they might look a little bit better with the bigger, coarser salt on them, but they still look good, so I'm not gonna worry about it, okay? All right, so now let's see if we can grab one. They're gonna be really hot though. And these got maybe even a little bit too brown on the bottom for especially the smaller ones. Even the bigger ones, they're a little bit brown on the bottom. Okay, whew, that's hot. Now, I'm betting these would be fantastic with like cheese or something like that to dip in them as well. But we'll try them just plain and see how they taste. I love a nice warm pretzel. Pretzels are usually good no matter what, but a really nice fresh one right out of the oven, delicious. These are even kind of soft. Like a lot of times a pretzel will be kind of tough on the outside. It's not. It is, I mean, it's a little bit tougher on the outside than it is on the inside, but still quite soft. It's really, really good. And even though I used the whole wheat instead of the rye rye flour, I think it's delicious. So, and I can even taste the salt, which is the best part. So, perfect. I love them. Okay, so now all we need to do, melt a little cheese and have some pretzels with cheese. Or, you know, you can even have like a pretzel topped with all kinds of stuff. They even do them now with like a dessert pretzel. So you guys, this is it for this video. I hope you liked it. Like and subscribe if you like, or don't if you don't. Everyone have a good day. Enjoy your cooking. Keep your kitchen messy, and we'll see you later. Bye.